vlog at 572.
Dudes talking in the hall, and I'm hoping it doesn't mean that I'm getting a neighbor. Good morning. It is Thursday. Or Wednesday? What's today? Thursday. Good morning. Today's Thursday, which means for you it's Friday, which means today is French Friday. And French Friday, we're going to be talking. It's probably one of my most requested stories. It has very little to do with France itself. Well, it has to do with France. It's the apartment hunt and how I found my landlady and ended up finding this place. Because as some of you know, I don't actually pay rent for this place, which is the only way that I could have afforded to come back to Paris in the first place. And that's a whole story that we still haven't gotten into in its entirety either. But thanks to the generosity of my landlady, I'm able to afford to live in Paris. And so today I'm going to tell you that story of how I ended up finding this place and finding Brigitte, my landlady, who is going to be here at the end of the month. Wait, not this month, the end of next month. And you'll get to see her if you haven't met her already, which if you go back to when I was in New York last year, you could meet her then if you wanted to, but otherwise, maybe even when she was here visiting a few months ago. Either way, you'll get to see her again here soon, but today we're going to talk about how I met her. Okay, I did a terrible job of telling the story over the course of the day. I just got a little bit distracted. Got a very late start to the day. And yeah, you'll see more about that. We'll cut to the vlog here after I'm done. I'm just gonna tell you the story after I light myself. Whoa. Some of you might know this story already. I don't think I've ever told it in great detail, but this is kind of the way it goes. 5 years ago, roughly, when I first moved to Paris, it was the second time I've lived in France, but the first time I lived in Paris. I moved here, I was still working with Mercy Ships, the international office, as well as teaching English for the French government. Neither of them were paying me. I was lost from the Mercy Ships payroll as they transitioned me from the US office over to the Swiss office. So I got lost for a couple months there, no pay. And then, of course, the French government wasn't paying up front either. So I had to wait a couple months for them to pay me too. All that to say, I didn't have a lot of money because I was volunteering in West Africa for the 2 years preceding this move. And so I was left kind of without much of anything. I didn't have anything. Thankfully, I had a friend whose uncle let me sleep on his floor for a while. We had arranged that before I came here, and the idea was that I would sleep on his floor and actually look for an apartment during the day. I did sleep on his floor, literally on his floor, which is where this mat comes from. I think I've told that story before. I got this mat from an Italian friend who took pity on me because she was like, "You're literally sleeping on a wooden floor every night. You should at least have something underneath you." So that's where I got this mat from. I still have like the women's jacket, leather, pleather, whatever belt that I can tie this up with if I ever want to tie it back up again. But I would roll it up every morning and stuck it in the corner and then look for a place to live if I wasn't already heading out to the school I was teaching in. But I would go to an apartment, and the great irony was that I was actually finding apartments that were available and they would have been mine, where the proprietor was like, "Yeah, go ahead. Like, I would actually like to sign you up for this." And I'd be like, "Cool, I don't have any money. Thanks for showing me your place. Yeah, I'll get back to you." I think I was more often like, "I'll get back to you," and just never did. Because I didn't have any money, but I still, in order to fulfill that obligation to the guy who I was staying with, needed to be looking for a place. It was a really awkward situation. And when I say small, I mean like it was basically maybe twice the size of this, but the entire apartment with the kitchen, the bathroom and everything, it wasn't even fully twice the size of this place. Just enough space on the floor to sleep, where he would sleep. It was like a futon right next door. And he kicked me out a couple times when he wanted his girlfriend to come over, which I totally understand. No judgment there, but it was a stressful situation. Fast forward a couple of months when I had finally given up all hope. Not really, actually, I hadn't given up hope. I just kind of had accepted where I was at. I was like, you know what? Things will work out. I don't know how, I don't know why, but we're just gonna stop stressing about this. So I just kind of let it go. I wrote a blog post to that effect. It's been really hard to find a place. I'm really stressed out, but I'm sure things will work out. And at that point, I had my teacher's pass. This guy right here, which I'd gotten from my school, as well as my Navigo. I had so little money, I was literally borrowing money from my dad just to buy baguettes to eat, like dirt cheap sandwiches, if not straight baguettes, for a while. When I finally opened my bank account, they gave me €100 credit, which I withdrew immediately. It was 100 euros. I paid for my Navigo, which at that point was something like 92 euros. I literally spent that 100 euro credit, so 100 euros I didn't even have, on my Navigo so that I could go to work on the RER, on the train, and that's all I had. So I had my Navigo and I had my teacher's pass. I was like, you know what, I'm going to the Louvre. So I posted that blog post, went to the Louvre, got in for free because of this, wandered around for a little bit, had like a route that I would take when I went to the Louvre because I could go for free. So there were just a couple things I would do for the heck of it. I always went and saw the Mona Lisa right away just to get out of the way, just because I was like, why not? I'm here, everybody wishes they could be doing this, I'm gonna do it. So I went, I checked out the Mona Lisa. I wandered around for a little bit and was like, you know what? I just felt like I need to go home. I don't know if I was just bored, but this is also before I had cell service, so I didn't have internet on my phone. Went back to the apartment up in the 18th. I showed you guys where that apartment was a couple weeks ago. Logged in on my giant, ridiculously oversized computer and just remember finding a message from my friend Anne who was saying, hey, like my mother-in-law and I are here in town just for today. We're leaving tomorrow for London for a wedding, but if you happen to be free, we would love to buy you dinner. And my mother-in-law has this maid's chamber that she says you can use. And of course I was like, food? Like free food? So I was immediately on a metro over here. I was like, yes, I'm on my way. Hopped on the train. I remember thinking it was a long ways away. I had this crazy idea of what this place looked like that it absolutely did not turn out to look like whatsoever. And I met through Mercy Ships. Her husband still works with Mercy. I think she's working with Mercy Ships a little bit now too, but her husband is the chief international medical officer. So he's worked his way up in the ranks, but it's his mom that owns the apartment. So he wasn't here then though, it was just Anne and her mother-in-law, Brigitte, my landlady. And they took me out to dinner, not far from here, where my landlady and I have gone the last couple times she's been here. I was just telling her this story recently. I just remember her kind of looking at me sideways, just being kind of like, you're not gonna freeload, are you? Like she didn't say it that way, but she was just kind of like, you're still gonna look for an apartment, right? I was like, yeah, I'll keep looking for an apartment. Thank you so much, this helps me out so much. And I'll find a place on my own. It's just, I do need the help right now. She's like, okay, well, I don't accept rent. You can pay for the internet, but aside from that, like, I'm not gonna accept any rent from you. And so it was gonna be another week, I think. I was like desperate to get in here, but it took another week for them to redo the electricity because she hadn't let anyone stay in here for 25 years. 25 years that this place was open. Nobody was living here, which is why the furniture is like 50 or 60 years old and falling apart. They redid the electricity, I moved in, and I was here. I didn't really ever feel fully at home though, for definitely not that first year. Went to the Congo after living here for a bit, but by the time I left, her attitude had definitely changed. Where the concierge, Jacqueline, like really started to like me a lot. She calls me l'adorable, which means the adorable, which is ridiculous. But I guess I am rather adorable. And then whenever Brigitte would come into town, she would be jet lagged and we would go like down the way and we'd sit and have dinner and she would tell me her stories and I would listen, and over time we just kind of developed a relationship as you do. And by the time I left, she was just like, you know what, I wish you would never leave. It's so nice to have you there. So nice to have somebody in Paris when I'm visiting. If you ever want to come back, the place is yours. So she just treated this place like mine ever since, which is why she put this art on the walls. For those of you who are recent subscribers, you may not realize that the art on the walls is art from my book Into the Nanton, or books Into the Nanton 1 and 2. But she paid to put that up and she really treated this like my place. And finally, this year, in moving back and being here, it does feel like, oh wow, this is my place. It really does feel that way. And that's how I ended up getting this place. So when I think I said in the video that we made on Cheryl's channel, I think I said like, I'm not really the expert on getting an apartment in Paris, but that is really how getting an apartment here works so often, is just pure luck, timing, chance, and knowing people, and just happen to be connected at the right time at the right place. So it worked out really well. I'm really, really thankful for this place. Brigitte will always know that I'm grateful. I send her cards and things, but I'm really, really, really grateful to have this. And that's the story of how I ended up getting it and staying here. Yeah, I just would stay here every time I came through Paris. And then, I don't know, she just imparted to me, she did say it a number of times before it really stuck, that she really thought of this as my place. So that's it. I don't have a lease. I don't pay rent. I am officially a resident here because she signed letters to say as much, but that's kind of the situation. And I'm really, really fortunate, really, really lucky. So Mercy Ships, that ties into Mercy Ships. Volunteering in West Africa for a few years happens to make some connections that help you out along the way. It's not why you should do it, but I guess that's not a bad reason to, it's not a reason in and of itself to do it, but it is definitely a nice side effect for which I'm very appreciative. Yeah, that's how I got my apartment. Anyways, I will go ahead and take you back in time, forward in time to the rest of the day. You can see the rest of the day. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, just a really brief story. Hopefully that wasn't like too much story with too little vlog going on. But if you haven't subscribed yet, please just subscribe. We just crossed the 4,800 subscriber mark, which is really exciting. Almost halfway to 10,000, which is when we pop that champagne on the far right. Should be great. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should subscribe. We'll talk more about it and you'll find out more soon. La la. Also, Mark is in this episode if you're dying to see Mark, and Holly if you're dying to see Holly. Those are all the spoilers you get. baker lady was really excited because I bought more than just a demi baguette today. I got a whole sandwich, basically a demi baguette, just stuffed full of stuff. And she taught me louper son réveil, which means to oversleep, or because I overslept. I definitely, so j'ai loupé mon réveil, if I'm saying that correctly. It means that, yeah, I kind of overslept, which is very true. I silenced my alarm at like 9 this morning, 9:30, something like that. And I got up at 11:30 to a bunch of texts from Holly saying, hey, I'm coming to join you. Where are you? Why aren't you responding to my text messages? Oops. Sorry, Holly. And now she's not responding to me, so, you know, turnabout's fair play, I suppose. Anyways. Falls in a puddle. Just a reminder, this is the icy version of the stairs that Tom Cruise flew over backwards in his car. I don't know, this is fun. I'm looking forward to seeing the movie just to see parts of the city, how they film them, and I'm really curious to see how disjointed it is, because when I lived in Siena, one of the new James Bond films, the opening sequence is in Siena, and they did a whole chase scene, and like they would turn the corner and go from one street in one part of the city to a completely different part of the city, which is just how film works. But it's the kind of thing you don't notice if you don't know a city, but in knowing the city and seeing just how far they jumped was always really fascinating. Anyways, how I met my landlady. Quick leg stretch and taking advantage of the sun. It's beautiful out here, although the snow's not going to last very long. Neither am I if I slip and bite it here. The river, whoa. The police were here recently. I said the police were here recently. That's why there's all this wake. No. Mark is taking us to a famous, what's the name of the sandwich place?
It is the best sandwich on earth except for my mother's.
That's a long name.
The best sandwich on earth except for his mother's, or my mother's.
What? My mother's.
Your mother's. I was quoting you. We'll find out here in a second. I'll get Mark to do the full pitch of this sandwich here in a second. Okay, before we go in, you got to give us the full pitch on this sandwich.
All right. It's a dinner plate size. Thanks, Nick. Dinner plate size onion bread. Too big for one person to eat. It's basically 2 sandwiches in one for about €9. There's 3 options: pastrami, vegetarian, or turkey. Obviously, I haven't tried the vegetarian. Turkey's about that thin, stacked that high, with their own veggies and their own sauce. Hello. Their own veggies, their own sauce, and it is delicious. The best sandwich you'll ever have, except for my mother's.
Anything Mark ever pitches sounds delicious, and usually is actually. I don't think you've ever suggested I eat anything that didn't turn out to be one of the best things I've ever eaten.
Right.
Peppadews,
right.
Mimolette, all kinds of things I've never had before.
Morgan's crepes.
Oh yeah. Kareem hopefully will never see that. Wow, what are these?
No idea. Everything is amazing.
I need to come back here when I'm not on a diet anymore. Au revoir. They were really nice. There's also a secret exit out the back. I still have not told the story about my landlady, so I think I'm just gonna insert that at the beginning and then do the vlog at the end, so people don't kill me for like dragging that part out forever. But it was a good story, wasn't it? Preemptively.
Fresh Prince fan at Bel Air. Actually, not as tough to eat as falafel.
It was very good. No, this falafel's much harder to eat.
Yeah, gosh.
I finally got that down, but it took me like a year.
And it kicked on
Yeah,
a lot.
Had a tasty sandwich and a nice long chat, which was really good. Hanging out with Mark in the bar. Good to see Nick Perry Jones and Josephine as well. It was good. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. I'm gonna tell the story still. I haven't told it yet, but I'm gonna insert that earlier. So as far as the timeline of the vlog goes, this is the end. It was good to see Holly, good to see those guys. Good to meet you, Rich and Lisa, as well as Jane and Jason on the bridge. It was really cool to meet you guys too. And the other day, Nick, Summer, and Olivia. Also nice to meet you guys. Sorry I didn't shout you out, whatever, on the vlog earlier. Just I was totally in my own headspace that day, so it's kind of crazy. For the rest of you, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. Love to have you on board. Go ahead, like, leave a comment, hang out. It'll be great. What I'm actually going to go do right now is I'm going to go to Marks and Spencer's, which is like this British store that is becoming increasingly popular here in Paris, and I'm hoping that they have loose popcorn and maybe jalapenos. We'll see. I don't know. I'm just going to go give it a try at least, see what's going on there. I'm going to cheat on my diet one more day today, just recouping, and then I think we're back on track tomorrow. The running and the starving myself and all that. So with no further ado, I will see you tomorrow.